Have you ever walked out of someone's house feeling more tired than when you walked in? As we grow older, time becomes more precious, and so does the company we keep. How and with whom we spend our time can deeply influence our emotional well-being, even more than we might realize. Some visits aren't just unproductive, they can be emotionally draining, mentally exhausting, and even harmful to our peace of mind. The problem is, we often don't recognize the impact until it's already taken a toll. We leave these visits feeling depleted, but we tell ourselves it's just part of being kind, loyal, or polite. We shrug off the discomfort, thinking it's just a phase, or that the person means well. But what if it's not just a phase? What if some relationships are quietly chipping away at your happiness? In this video, we're going to explore 4 types of people whose homes you should be cautious about visiting after the age of 65, no matter how much time you think you have. This isn't about being rude or cutting people off unnecessarily. It's about protecting your energy and choosing to spend your later years with people who uplift you rather than weigh you down. So, stay with me until the end, because recognizing these subtle emotional traps can help you build stronger boundaries, avoid unnecessary stress, and reclaim your peace of mind. Sometimes, knowing who to avoid is just as important as knowing who to keep close. Let's dive in. 1. The constant complainer. You probably know someone like this. No matter the weather, the situation, or the moment, they always find something to be upset about. When you enter their home, the air itself seems heavy. You're greeted not with warmth or joy, but with sighs, groans, and complaints about their health, the news, their family, or how no one ever checks on them. Even on days when everything seems fine, they'll find a crack in the surface. They'll search for something, anything, to feel miserable about. And if you stay too long, that negativity starts to seep into your own thoughts. You begin to feel it, carry it, even believe it. This kind of energy is contagious. It doesn't just stay in the room, it follows you home. You walk in with peace, but leave feeling unsettled, irritated, and strangely weighed down. Why? Because when someone is constantly negative, they don't just talk about their problems. They project them onto you. You become an emotional sponge for their misery. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't mean you should turn your back on loved ones who are struggling. Everyone has tough days, and lending a supportive ear is part of being human. But there's a crucial difference between someone going through a rough time and someone who has made negativity a lifestyle. Chronic complainers aren't looking for solutions. They don't want to grow or change. What they crave is attention, sympathy, and validation of their belief that life is unfair. And the more time you spend with them, the more they pull you into their emotional storm. At first, it may seem subtle. Maybe they mention a headache or grumble about the neighbors. But slowly, the complaints grow louder, longer, and more intense. Before you know it, every visit becomes a loop of the same frustrations, the same bitterness, and the same hopeless stories. And no matter how much advice you offer, they never actually do anything to improve their situation. If you try to change the topic to something lighthearted, they'll dismiss it. If you share good news, they'll downplay it or compare it to their own suffering. You'll notice that even your joys don't feel safe around them. Over time, you'll start associating these visits not with comfort or connection, but with emotional fatigue. Here's the truth: your peace is precious. Especially after 65, you've earned the right to spend your time with people who make you feel good. People who bring light into your life, not darkness. Offering kindness doesn't mean sacrificing your mental well-being. You can care about someone and still protect yourself. Remember, you are not responsible for another person's refusal to seek happiness. 2. The subtle manipulator. Not every invitation is about friendship. Sometimes people invite you into their homes not because they miss your company, but because they need something from you. And when that's the case, the visit starts to feel more like a job than a joy. At first, it may look innocent. They ask for a quick favor, nothing major. But soon, a pattern emerges. They never call just to check on you. They never invite you over just to chat. Every interaction comes with an unspoken request. The thing about manipulative people is that they rarely make direct demands. Instead, they use subtle tactics: guilt, flattery, obligation. They might say things like, "You're the only one I can count on," or "I don't know what I'd do without you." And just like that, you're drawn in, fixing something in their house, running their errands, sacrificing your time again and again. You tell yourself it's okay, you're helping, you're being kind. But the truth is, real relationships are mutual. Real friends give as much as they take. They're there for you when you need them. They support you, check in on you, and appreciate you. But manipulators don't operate that way. They take, expect more, and rarely give anything in return. And when you finally set a boundary, when you say no, watch how they respond. Do they respect your decision, or do they guilt trip you, act cold, or make you feel like you've let them down? If someone only calls you when they need something, if you leave their house feeling used, not loved, if being around them feels more like a responsibility than a connection, then it's time to reconsider what role they truly play in your life. After 65, your time is a treasure. Every hour should be spent doing what brings you joy, or at least what brings you peace. Don't give away that time to someone who sees your kindness as a resource to exploit. You deserve relationships built on mutual care, respect, and appreciation, not one-sided arrangements where your presence is a transaction. Say yes to those who value you, not just what you can do for them. 3. The drama magnet. Some people don't just encounter drama, they seem to manufacture it wherever they go. No matter what's happening in their life, there's always a problem brewing, a feud escalating, or a fresh crisis waiting to be told. Spend enough time around them, and you'll find yourself caught in their emotional whirlwind, often without realizing how you got there. You may visit their home expecting a pleasant conversation, a cup of tea, or a light-hearted chat. But instead, you're met with a breathless monologue, a story about betrayal, injustice, or yet another fight with someone they feel wronged by. And before you know it, you're part of their drama, listening to every painful detail, every twist and turn, every imagined slight. The core issue with drama magnets is simple. Peace makes them restless. Stillness feels like emptiness to them, so they create waves where there are none. They stir up tension, gossip about friends or neighbors, blow minor disagreements out of proportion, or twist facts to paint themselves as the constant victim. But it doesn't stop there. They don't just want you to listen, they want you to take sides. Maybe they've fallen out with a sibling or are feuding with a neighbor. Suddenly, you're being pulled into the story, expected to validate their feelings, defend them, and quietly distance yourself from whoever they've cast as the enemy. And here's where it gets dangerous. Even if you try to stay neutral, they won't let you. They push, they test, they watch your reactions, waiting to see if you'll fully align with their version of events. If you do, they reward you with more secrets, more gossip, more exclusive updates. But if you try to de-escalate or shift the topic to something positive, they take offense. You might even become their next villain. That's the thing about people who thrive on conflict. Eventually, everyone around them gets caught in their storm. No one is immune. One day it's about their sister, the next it's about you. And when you leave their home, you don't feel relaxed, you feel emotionally drained. The air feels heavy, and there's a lingering tension that follows you into the rest of your day. Their chaos doesn't stay behind, it clings to you. Some people confuse this behavior with passion or personality. They just have a lot going on, you might say. But true friends don't make you feel like you're walking on a tightrope. They don't turn every interaction into a battlefield. And they certainly don't expect you to carry the emotional baggage of their unresolved conflicts. If someone's home feels more like a war zone than a place of peace, it's okay to ask yourself, why am I still visiting? After 65, peace isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And if someone constantly pulls you into emotional chaos, it's more than okay to step back. You are not required to participate in anyone's drama, not anymore. The negative nostalgic. There's a difference between remembering the past fondly and living in it so deeply that the present no longer holds any joy. Some people spend so much time looking backward that they become stuck in a cycle of regret and bitterness. And when you visit their home, the air is filled not with warm memories, but with sorrow, resentment, and what-ifs. They might begin with a story from years ago, but soon that story spirals into a tale of disappointment. How life didn't turn out the way they hoped, who let them down, or what opportunities were missed. They don't just remember the past, they relive the pain of it, again and again. At first, it might seem harmless. We all reminisce now and then. But the negative nostalgic doesn't just revisit the past, they live there. And they invite you to join them in their sorrow. They'll bring up old family wounds, revisit betrayals that happened decades ago, or mourn things long gone. No matter how many blessings they have today, they rarely acknowledge them. Their focus is always on what's missing, what was lost, not what remains. And here's where it starts to affect you. Because when you spend enough time around someone who views the world through a lens of loss and disappointment, it begins to color your own perspective. Without even realizing it, you start thinking more about your own regrets. You begin to question your choices. You dwell on what you might have done differently. Their hopelessness seeps into your spirit. The danger is subtle but very real. You begin to see aging not as a phase of wisdom, love, and freedom, but as a period of loss. You hear them say things like, "Life will never be as good as it once was," or "The world today has nothing left to offer." And slowly, those ideas start to feel like truths. But they're not. Life is full of change, and yes, the past may hold beautiful moments, but the present holds potential. There are still new experiences to enjoy, new memories to create, new laughter to share. The negative nostalgic, however, can't see that. To them, the best days are gone, and they've given up on finding joy in the now. Now, let's be compassionate. This doesn't mean avoiding anyone who has suffered loss or been through hard times. Pain is a part of life, and honoring the past is healthy. But there's a big difference between sharing lessons and being imprisoned by old wounds, between remembering and reliving. If someone's outlook constantly pulls you into a space of sadness, it's okay to protect your own spirit. Because after 65, your emotional well-being is too important to be weighed down by someone else's unwillingness to move forward. Surround yourself with people who still believe there's more to see, more to feel, more to live for. Let's pause for a moment and reflect. Have you ever left someone's home feeling emotionally tired, confused, or even a bit hopeless? Have you found yourself carrying stress that doesn't even belong to you? If so, it might be time to take a closer look at where, and with whom, you spend your time. After 65, your peace of mind is one of the most valuable things you have. And protecting it isn't selfish, it's necessary. You are not obligated to spend time in spaces that drain you, confuse you, or pull you into cycles of negativity. You don't owe anyone your joy. Some visits leave you feeling full, loved, inspired, and seen. Others leave you empty, questioning yourself, your choices, or your worth. Pay attention to the difference. Your emotions are a compass. Trust them. You're not here to fix people who refuse to grow. You're not here to fuel someone's drama, carry their bitterness, or fill the silence of their unhappiness. You are here to live, fully, peacefully, and with purpose. So ask yourself, who makes you feel seen? Who makes you feel better after you've spent time together? Whose presence leaves you lighter, not heavier? Those are the people worth investing in, because this stage of life isn't about obligation, it's about intention. Spend your time wisely, protect your peace fiercely, and always, always choose people who bring light into your life.